Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Kneon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And I did a shorter video yesterday talking about Scott Adams passing. And since that time, the media has been very, very busy trying to smear him as much as they can. We've got ridiculous headlines like this one from People Magazine, which is making the rounds. Scott Adams, disgraced Dilbert creator, dies at 68. We've got people celebrating his death on Blue Sky.
Oh, shocker.
And I'm getting tired of this. I'm going to tell you, I'm so tired of it. And actually, I haven't been on Twitter much for the last month. And a big part of the reason I haven't been is I saw the reaction to Rob Reiner's death. And look, I don't agree with Rob Reiner's politics, or at least not everything he says. And I know that the guy has, had massive TDS, but I sure as hell didn't want him dead. And I sure as hell am not going to celebrate him being murdered by his son. And there were people on Twitter that were celebrating his death. And, this has got to stop, right? I get that, people that you didn't like or didn't like their politics die. I get that. But there's a time and a place to discuss, I think, their legacy, and it's not minutes after they pass, right?
Well, this is like when Stan Lee died.
Yeah, they did the same thing. They're like, oh, did you know he was a perv and a philanderer or whatever? Stan Lee was abused in the last couple of years of his life. And, look, people are people, and they have complicated legacies, and they have complicated opinions, especially if you're a public figure and you're successful. Everything you do becomes an open book.
Well, I'm just thinking, in 20 years from now, whatever, or however far down the road, some of these other people that are writing these articles, if they, if people still care about them in that many years, and they would pass away, but they were like, everything they believe now might be considered ridiculous in 20 years. It might go the other way, and everybody's gonna be like, well, they are just a sack of crap, and here's why. You wouldn't wish that on people that you'd be like, oh, I want to remember for things I did, not just because of how I voted or what I thought. I don't know what his politics were. I just know that he did Dilbert.
Yeah, so he, in his later years, did become a right-wing commentator. He did say some things. I'll be honest, he said some things that I don't agree with. I was even kind of I'm like, dude, wait, I'm not going to tell you what to do, but if it were me, I wouldn't have said some of the things you said. I'm just saying.
I don't even know what he said, so there you go.
But, yeah, I mean, he did whack the beehive on occasion, so that's fine. But he also spent, decades doing a very, very popular comic strip that was very well regarded. He won all kinds of awards. They loved him. He had a TV show. He had all kinds of merchandise. And then he made some comments online. He got canceled in 2023. And then kind of just went all in on becoming a commentator. But regardless of that, what happens is when somebody passes like that, people do overlook whatever their positive contribution is to society. And again, I'm gonna contrast it with Rob Reiner. I got myself in trouble on X because I flat out said I don't want to hear it. If somebody's going to sit here and shit talk Rob Reiner, even though I didn't agree with his politics, I thought the guy was too far left. But I don't want him dead. And you can say, hey, I don't agree with your politics, but he still was one of the greatest directors of the last 50 years. That, you can acknowledge that, but there is some of these articles are more fair than others, but I was really appalled yesterday. I read the Variety article. I'm like, okay, this headline seems sane. This is before the People one was written. Scott Adams, Dilbert creator, dies at 68. Okay. And then one sentence into this, Scott Adams, who became controversial for his right-wing statements, has died. They mentioned his right-wing politics before his death. This is just piss poor writing in general. This is not the AP would never sign off on this.
Oh, no, the AP now would totally sign off. I guarantee you find AP articles that how it's written. AP 10 years ago, no.
I had to get, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 paragraphs in, 6 paragraphs in, 7 until you actually get to his career as the Dilbert guy.
Is the rest of it all about Trump?
Yeah, the rest of it's all about Trump, but it's front loaded with the Trump stuff. And I'm like, what are you doing? Seriously.
Well, you know what they're doing.
Yeah, it's like we know what you're doing because you think you're more important than you actually are. You think that, you're Lois Lane and you're Rita Skeeter, and you think that in 10 years you're going to be the ones who rewrite history, and your blogs are not even going to be around. And this is what just kind of gets me in general within People Magazine. People Magazine just used to be celebrity news and like recipes and stuff for housewives who like celebrity gossip. And this article this is some shit that you would see on Tumblr.
Well, it's the person that wrote it made their tweets private, and on X they were getting themselves the People Magazine and stuff. They took it down. They took this article down off X, but it's still up in the magazine, and now the editor is getting dogpiled.
Yeah, Dogbert's kicking them when they're down from beyond the grave. Yeah, I don't know. It's like, look, I get it. Nobody's perfect. Everybody has a complicated legacy. But when you have this shit, I mean, this is People Magazine. When O.J. Simpson died, he got a better headline than Scott Adams. O.J.
Simpson, definitely did something. Well, I'm sorry, he wasn't proven guilty.
Alleged.
Yeah,
everybody knows he did it. Okay,
anyway,
come on.
It was pretty. Yeah, and his wasn't that way. And even though he would have been. There'd been something like I wouldn't say disgraced. Well, disgraced or like suspected or something would have been in his headline, but nope.
Yeah, and O.J. Simpson, disgraced sports star, actor, whatever. No, he got a fair headline because when you write the obituaries for people that pass, usually you lead with what they were best known for, and then you talk about the controversies after. Yeah,
you could put the controversies in, but you talk about the controversies at the end, not at the beginning. Not making the whole article. Yeah, not
putting it in the headline like, "Did we mention he was a piece of shit and I don't like him very much?" Well, this is the writer, Victoria Adele, who is wearing her grandmother's blanket. It's a quilt. I don't know. But it's like, look, these people really think they are much more important than they actually are. They think, well, I'm writing for People Magazine. I'm an important journalist. Really what it's about at the end of the day, I believe, is they were insanely jealous of Scott Adams, regardless of his politics, because he basically his opinions were listened to. And it was, they listened to him. Nobody knows who Victoria Adele is, other than
never heard of her till
just
today.
A freelancer at People Magazine. And these blogs don't vet the content, because right now, and I'll tell you, this is part of the reason I think that they allow this clickbait shit. That's how they survive. That's how they justify their existence.
Well, it worked because there's all a bunch of comments.
Yeah, and they're gonna look at the higher ups at the company. All they're gonna look at is, oh, we got a lot of views that day. We made some ad revenue. That's because they're all dying. All these blogs are dying. Part of the reason they're dying is nobody goes there because they don't believe your shit anymore. But this is People Magazine. It's just like Rolling Stone. Like Rolling Stone always had a little bit of a political angle, but you still knew it was primarily a music magazine.
Yeah, Rolling Stone was a music magazine. Now it isn't even that half the time. It's mostly social, commentary.
I mean, look, Scott Adams, disgraced Dilbert creator, dies at 68. Dilbert was pulled from wide circulation after Adams' racist rant in 2023. I mean, come on. And again, and I want to say, hey, it happens on both sides. It definitely happens on one side more so than the other, but I wasn't putting up with Rob Reiner shit either. Like, there's a time and a place to discuss his politics or whatever. You wait until the body's cold, okay? You wait until the people are buried. You wait until the families have grieved. Then you can look back a year later and be like, look, this person left behind a complicated legacy. I didn't agree with their politics. I don't think there are two people in this world that have 100% identical political views.
No.
Right?
It's ridiculous, like the way they're behaving.
And everybody says, yeah, and everybody says dumb shit. And that's, it's the guy spoke out against cancel culture. He spoke out against the left often. So yeah, he had a target. He was a multimillionaire. If he was a nobody, if he was just some random blogger like Victoria, nobody would have given a shit.
That's why they're doing it, because he wasn't just a nobody.
No, he wasn't a nobody. And
that's why they're mad.
And look, I want to reiterate, I don't agree with everything he said. I've gone through some of the stuff he said.
I don't even know what he said.
And some of the stuff he said, yeah, is kind of dicey. I'm like, dude, that's like, some things you shouldn't put out there publicly, especially if you're a public figure. I'm sure people say worse.
Oh my gosh, have you seen this stuff in Hollywood people say? Yeah. I mean, it's like, do you think at all?
No. I mean, that was the thing about Scott Adams, regardless of what you thought of his politics, is he was a critical thinker. I'm emphasizing critical. He definitely was a critical thinker. He didn't like the system. He thought the system was rigged. He thought that, but well, that's where Dilbert came from, right? Dilbert was like, he was stuck in a cubicle job. It was dumb. So yeah, he definitely was about thinking outside the box. And toward the end too, they're extra angry because at the very end of his life, he actually became a born again Christian. So that is making them angry too, because that was in his farewell letter. He basically said he gave his life to Christ. So that is making them angry too.
But why? So what?
Well,
why does it impact them? You're just like, you see his face. He's like, hell if I know.
I don't know. It's like, does it affect you personally? Did he go out like cursing you people out? Actually, his farewell letter was like, do good in the world, be useful in the world. Don't just be a waste of space. I try to do good. You know what I'm saying? And it was a very positive message, I think, and a call to action. And he could have gone out and been like, take out those libs and da, 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 da. And that's not. That's the thing
that gets me is people say stuff that you might not agree with. That's kind of downright dumb all the time. But when they pass away, most of the time they don't focus like O.J. Simpson. I mean, come on, we talk about the quote unquote high speed chase and the trial. No, that doesn't get mentioned in the headline, and that was a much bigger deal. But he had the part of the politics you guys agree with, and that's insane. That's insane to me.
Yeah, it's just.
This is pickled. It's ridiculous.
I think this is what upsets me about it. Again, I didn't watch Scott Adams. I occasionally would see clips of his on X or something. I didn't watch him. And he had some good points here and there.
Okay, but like, I'm looking at what he said here in this post you have. Like, if Biden's elected, there's a good chance he'll be dead within a year. Republicans will be hunted. The thing is, I saw similar shit like that said by Democrats about Trump.
Yeah, they're going to hunt the trans people down the streets.
And I was like, y'all are dumb.
Yeah,
but you know what I mean? And I was like, this is all ridiculous. But I saw other people saying the same stuff on the opposite side.
So this is where, so that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't agree with everything he said.
No, I don't agree with that stuff he's saying either.
The hyper polarization that we become less than human when somebody on the quote unquote the other side dies, and I've seen it from both sides. I have. I mean, I'm not even waiting.
You don't have to be dead to be less than human. It's the way they try to like label people with like offhanded, I'm going to label you with that name or whatever. And try to that. So in my head, like I'm morally superior and I can dismiss you easier and pretend like you are less than human. And it's concerning.
I really need to, again, stay off of Twitter because I'm seeing a lot of shit that just is like, this is just insane. And
I've been trying to stick with the positive stuff mostly.
Well, your feed is kind of trained, but Twitter is, it's hyper focused on engagement, good or bad. So they will actually throw people in front of you just like they used to, except now there's money involved, and you're going to get trolls and you're going to get more shit on Twitter because these people are getting paid for it in some regards. Even the same people that said, "Hey, I can't believe you gave Elon Musk $8 a month to use Twitter," are the same people who are paying that get paid by Twitter now, you know what I'm saying?
Or they're on Blue Sky, which is good.
They're on Blue Sky, which all the comic book people are, and they're all reacting exactly how you thought. I know.
Yeah, but they were the ones wishing their case, they're reacting the way they are is because they're jealous as shit. That a lot of them that didn't get as big as him are jealous because they think they should have been as big as him, and the ones that were big are just trying to keep their biscuit by making sure you toe the line.
Yeah, I'm just like. Audacious creator of Dilbert. Well, at least they'll remember who he is, though. That's the thing. It's like Jack Sparrow. Like, he could have faded into obscurity because Dilbert pretty much peaked in popularity in like the late 90s or
yeah. So you don't hear anything about Dilbert for years.
No, and so like Dilbert was on the. I mean, Dilbert was everywhere in the 90s.
Like, what's Dilbert?
Yeah, what's Dilbert? Yeah, it's like the goofy cartoon of the guy where his ties point. Yeah, that was huge in the. It's kind of like Ziggy. It was like huge in the 70s.
Yeah, they're definitely gonna be like, who's Ziggy?
It's who's Ziggy. Ziggy's Gift, by the way, is one of the best animated Christmas specials of all time. Ziggy's Gift is good. I actually remember Ziggy more for his gift. And I always wondered if he actually wore pants or something. He just hasn't. I don't know. Anyway, but like, yeah, comic strips are pretty much irrelevant at this point anyway, just in general. But Dilbert was one of the last like truly popular strips, but it has been kind of waning in popularity. So people are going to remember him. It's not like, oh, Scott Adams died. Oh, Dilbert. Yeah, I remember that. What was that, like 20 years ago? Like, I remember that. But yeah, so they're going to remember him now for good or for bad, and they're still going to talk about him. He is going to live on in your heads rent free for decades because you're not going to stop being mad about things a dead man said 10 years ago.
You're the disgraced, audacious creator. Oh, but you have heard of me. You know?
That's exactly what I'm saying. And a lot of these people like, who is this? Rest in piss, Scott. Who are you? Did you do anything? I don't know who you are. So it's just like, but I mean, again, this is across the board. And I'm very glad I'm not on X when all this shit's going down with ICE and all that too, because I don't want to read it. Yeah, I don't want to read it. We really have got to work on being better at being human, I think. And
yeah, but also the flip side is I'm tired of people doing dumb shit and they're supposed to be
I know that, but there's zero empathy if it's somebody on the opposite side. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not even like, hey, this person might have made a bad choice and they might have had some opinions I didn't agree with, but I don't want them dead. No, now we just literally, it's like taking scalps. Like we celebrate people dying, people getting killed, people being murdered,
like
people being assassinated. Yeah. And I'm sorry. It's like, I'm out. Like I can't abide by it. I can't stomach it. It's stupid. It's a very stupid thing. And, it gets easier to just, forget that these are human beings, regardless of how you feel about them personally, regardless of if they fucked up. You're dealing with human beings that have died, who leave behind families, who, you know what I'm saying? And it's the same with the Rob Reiner situation. That's a horrible, horrible thing to have your own kid kill you. I mean, we can debate about whether or not he should have had his kid in rehab and all that, but whatever. It doesn't change the fact that the guy and his wife got killed in their own home by their own kid. That's awful. And, I think that, again, you can discuss his politics later, but God, wait until the body's cold at least. It's so just, we used to be better than this. I think that's where I'm coming from. I don't know. Are we going to wrap it up?
Yeah.
There we go, guys. So, RIP. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. We'll talk later.
Bye.